ABC612. It is a contentious issue with lots of people affected. Children, their parents, teachers, religious organisations, politicians. One parent very engaged in the debate is Alison Courtice. She's the spokeswoman for Queensland Parents for Secular State Schools. Alison, your children go to Windsor State School where the religious program has been suspended. Were your children being instructed under that program?
My children do not attend religious instruction. However, this quest started for me when my then 7-year-old her class was being given religious instruction. I decided to sit in on it. That was a couple of years ago. And look, she may as well have been in the class because she could hear every word that was being said because she was in an attached computer room and allowed to wander in and out to collect books, as well as the couple of other students that were in the same room. So at that time, Windsor was not providing separate instruction in a separate location with separate supervision. So that's when it started for me, with talking to Windsor about how we could work together to make sure they complied with policy.
And in that class that you sat in on, what were the children being taught?
Oh, well, I distinctly remember what they were being taught. The religious instructor told the children, if there's something that you want and you go and ask Mum and Mum says no, so then you go and ask Dad, but if Dad says no to you, but if you take Jesus into your heart, Jesus will never say no to you. And frankly, I was gobsmacked, and I couldn't imagine any parent allowing their children in that class to listen to that sort of bribery for Jesus.
And have you spoken to other parents or indeed children at the school about this?
Didn't talk to children about it. I don't think that that's appropriate, but certainly I've engaged with a lot of parents, and there's overwhelming support that, first of all, schools should comply with policy. And when Windsor State School at the end of last year started a complete review of the opt-in process, they gave every parent the lesson aims of the Connect program, which they had never seen before, and participation just about halved almost overnight when parents realised that Connect was a sin and salvation program.
Can you explain what that means or what that is?
What the Sin and Salvation program is?
Yes.
Well, the overriding aim of Connect, that's stated in every one of their instructor manuals, says, I'll read it to you, the overriding aim of this curriculum is to present the heart of God's message of salvation in a clear and attractive manner. For maximum effect, this will require linking beyond the immediate lessons to ways of linking students to church-run children's and youth activities so they can experience Christian community and learn more about the Christian faith. So the program is designed, and it even states in the program that most of the children in this lesson are not yet Christians. And the whole process is designed to convince them to become Christians. And that's the proselytising.
And at the time where you brought this up with the principal, did the teachers and the principal know the content of that class?
No. The principal certainly wasn't aware of it. The department obliges principals to review the programs to ensure they don't solicit children for a decision to change their religious affiliation, but schools simply just don't follow policy in that regard. And principals are also under the misunderstanding that they think the department has pre-approved these programs for use. And when Windsor State School principal discovered that was not in fact the case, he then realised it was up to him to review it.
And I understand now that the department will review the program Connect. Will you be part of that review?
They haven't invited us to, but we're very happy to give them information, and we have been. We've been talking to the department now for over a year with our various concerns about the non-compliance with policy, but also giving them some of the lesson aims that we have been posting on our Facebook page about Connect. Children, there are lessons where children are shown a white rag and a grey rag, and they're told that they're all the grey rag because they're all dirty and sinful, and only Jesus is the clean white rag. There's been lessons on enacting out David beheading Goliath with the children as young as 10. So we've informed the department about this, but I think the fact that a principal has stood up and said, in terms of policy, I've determined that Connect does solicit children for a decision to change their religious affiliation, so therefore I have to say no to Connect.
Was it easy for you to opt out of religious instruction for your children?
Yes, it was. Different schools have different procedures. The problem with some schools is we've seen many examples of schools providing incorrect, misleading and coercive information to parents about what the content of RI is. The schools are supposed to be neutral, and yet some schools' website information reads like infomercials for Christian RI. It's as if they've had the religious instruction provider write it for them and they've put it on their website. The department has cracked down on all of the ones that we've brought to its attention. My school was just not providing enough information to parents.
And if parents want to know what the policy is around religious education, where do they find it?
They can just Google Religious Instruction Policy, Department of Education, Queensland.
When you said earlier that schools are not following that policy, can you give me an example of that, another one?
There are schools that will tell parents that they have to, if they want their child not to do RI, the parent has to give written instructions to the school, and that they have to keep doing that year after year, which is a bit difficult because if it is an opt-in policy, then why should parents have to opt out of something that they never opt into and be asked to do that repeatedly every year?
What do you think children should be taught in school about religion?
I think it depends on the age level of children. At Queensland Parents for Secular State Schools, we want to see children educated about the variety of religious beliefs and non-beliefs, but we're not educators, we're just parents. It would be up to experts to determine some sort of religious education program that's age appropriate and that's somehow built into the curriculum, whether it's a standalone subject, like it already is available as an optional subject for, I think, year 10, 11 and 12 in state high schools. But for primary schools, whether they put it into other subjects like history and society, but that is a decision for the experts. But we certainly think that there should be no place for instruction in religion, but definitely a place for education about religion.
We've seen a lot of debate in recent months or even years, Alison, about the Safe Schools program, which is ostensibly designed to teach students about LGBTI issues. Do you support Safe Schools instruction in schools?
I certainly do, yes. And I think it's very, very ironic that those who claim that it is indoctrinating children in a gay agenda don't seem to be raising their voices against religious instruction that indoctrinates in a religious agenda. So
what do your children do now when the religious instruction classes are on?
Well, the minority of students now do it at Windsor State School, following parents being given detailed information on Connect's lesson aims, and they divide the classes up so that they can alternate between one classroom of, say, year 4s will be for RI and another one will be for the children not doing RI. They're allowed to do revision, they're allowed to read, they're allowed to work on their handwriting, they're allowed to catch up on art projects. So they certainly, at my school, are no longer twiddling their thumbs, but there are plenty of examples of schools where we've had complaints from parents to say, look, my child is sitting outside the principal's office or picking up rubbish or made to do something that the child feels is that they're being punished because they're not participating in RI.
And you know of cases where that's happened?
Absolutely.
Picking up rubbish because you're not doing religious instruction?
Well, yes. They've got to try and find something for the child to do. So in one school, that's apparently what the child was asked to do. That was probably stopped after the parent complained. But there are anti-discrimination laws as well, and schools cannot provide children with something to do that is less favourable than doing RI. Otherwise, they're discriminating against those children because of their lack of attending religious instruction.
Alison Courtice, thanks very much for your time today.